Dungeons & Dragons just released a new starter set called Heroes of the Borderlands to guide new players and especially new dungeon masters in this wonderful hobby of tabletop role-playing games. But is this new set really much better than the previous, much less expensive D&D starter sets? And what about us experienced players and game masters? Does this new box set really offer us anything new? The answers are yeah and oh yeah. But of course, one gamer's surprising upgrade is another gamer's disappointing change. So let's break it all down. Because I'm Bob, this is where we learn how to have more fun playing RPGs together, and I did receive this review copy box for free, but D&D is not sponsoring this video. The first thing this new starter set includes is dice. They're actually at the bottom of the box, but hey, I know what you're here for. We get 11 white on red polyhedral dice. That's the standard 7 RPG dice used for tons of similar games, plus an extra 20-sided die for our main rolls and 3 extra 6-sided dice because they come up a lot too. A 4-page pamphlet quick start guide as a step-by-step overview of the contents and how to use them, with a handy QR code for a video tutorial. And whoa, that same QR code is on the outside of the box so curious shoppers can get a sneak peek. Love that idea. A 30-page stitch-bound play guide, acting as our condensed player's handbook. It breaks down the new player character cards, which we'll see in a minute, and the basic rules of the game, with a pleasant surprise. The first page has credits of the original and beloved 1979 Keep on the Borderlands adventure. 3 stitch-bound adventure booklets for the famous Keep on the Borderlands, the surrounding wilderness, and the infamous Caves of Chaos. Each is roughly 20 pages long, and while there are no spoilers in this video, we'll be sure to take a closer look at how these booklets encourage everyone in the group to try a session being the Dungeon Master. It's a simple idea, but it's really one of my favorite upgrades. We got 5 handouts for calls to adventure and shopping. 9 double-sided poster maps. That's 12 maps of the caves, 5 for the wilderness, and 1 for the keep. 8 character class boards for the cleric, fighter, rogue, and wizard at different levels. And yep, this is the biggest change of all. No easy way to show this all at once. Here's a chunk of them. 210 color-coded cards designed to be placed atop or adjacent to the character boards or reserved for the game master. 8 cards for character backgrounds, 8 for character species, but that's 4 species with 2 cards each. 20 magic item cards, 55 equipment cards, but that's 30 pieces of equipment with varying numbers of duplicates. 53 spells, 20 non-player characters, 42 monsters, and 4 reminders of the things any character can do on their turn, both in and out of combat. Speaking of which, there is a combat tracker notepad for recording initiative order, hit points, conditions, and death saves. And wow, 273 cardboard tokens for gold pieces, gems, hit points, tracking powers, that's like spell slots and other limited use features, standees for the player characters themselves, more tokens for monsters and terrain features, and last but not least, 4 plastic bags so each player can pack up their character's cards at the end of a session. What a great idea. Overall, this new D&D starter set offers way more stuff than any of the previous boxes. But before we get into the finer points of each of these items, pros and cons, remember to give this video a thumbs up if you're finding it helpful, and please comment below. What do you think will be the most useful item for running Dungeons & Dragons? Besides the dice, that's too easy. While I tell you about this video's awesome sponsor, that I literally use every day, my wedding ring. Once a cheap hunk of metal that was too big, it is now a Thorum ring, made to last from titanium and ironwood. But wow, Thorum makes rings from the coolest materials: meteorite, dinosaur bone, Damascus steel, whiskey barrel, World War II rifle stocks, and more. All materials, including their gems, are ethically sourced, come with a lifetime warranty for replacements, and come with a free walnut box and silicone activity ring, which I was looking forward to as someone who has always been irrationally nervous about getting a ring stuck on my finger. That's why I don't really do jewelry, and part of why my original wedding ring was cheap and too big. But this time I used Thorum's ring sizer first, and now I have a comfortable, unique ring that I can proudly wear every day. And if you want to save 20% on such a ring of your own, use promo code BOB20, that's BOB20 at checkout on Thorum.com. Now, let's role play for a minute. Imagine you're a fairly nerdy person, walking through a bookstore, curious about D&D, though you've never played, except that one time, sort of. Anyway, you're here to check out some new fantasy fiction, when all of a sudden, you pass a shelf with this box. This box actually caught your eye because it has the game's full title at the top in bold, bright font, instead of how, at a glance, the old boxes made it look like the game was called Starter Set. And yeah, this new all-ages look on the cover could turn away some adult players, but it's sort of balanced with the photo on the back, making D&D look like a complicated board game. But you skim those highlights, set up and play in minutes, choose your way to play, and scan that QR code to a page emphasizing starting in minutes, no experience required, with a 5-minute video on how to set up and a longer one on how to play. This box seems like exactly what you and tons of people like you needed to finally get into D&D and tabletop role-playing games. That is awesome. As long as the $50 price is right. So remember, this 2015 D&D starter set was $20 for 2 booklets, 5 character sheets, and 6 dice. So for me, knowing that they've added more booklets, twice as many dice, hundreds of cards and tokens, plus handouts and poster maps and the combat tracker, even at $50, the new box gives you way more bang for your buck. Seriously, the Quick Start Guide tells you exactly how to unpack and organize all the materials in the box. It's got an overview on the roles of player character and dungeon master, saying how to get started as either one, and then, there it is, encouraging you to swap roles as the party explores the 3 adventure settings. And fret not, experienced GMs, there's also a note about metagaming. Next, maybe it's my own experience, or probably my bias for fantasy role-playing games with fewer rules, but the Play Guide reference booklet is the worst part for me. I'm reminded just how pedantic D&D 5e can be when I read things like obscured areas. An area might be lightly or heavily obscured. Lightly obscured. In a lightly obscured area, such as an area with dim light. Come on, man. So maybe the board game aesthetic is better for attracting players who prefer this level of detail, but this language is the biggest hurdle for people who just want to try this make-believe game that is D&D. Fortunately, the new class boards and cards make this rules-heavy role-playing game as simple as possible by telling you exactly what cards you need, where to place them, and how to use everything. So as promised, you can build a character in minutes. And furthermore, if you're playing a character, you never need to look at the rulebook. You never need to write anything down, and you never even need to add multiple numbers together unless you're rolling multiple dice for damage. All the other math is baked in, and when you level up, you just flip the board over or grab the next one. Again, you can make D&D way easier by ignoring lots of rules like I do, or playing a simpler fantasy role-playing game like I often do. But this set genuinely seems like the easiest way to play by all of D&D's rules and learn them as you go. A few smaller critiques. The cards are thin, but way nicer than the old perforated cards from the D&D Essentials kit. And I'm impressed at how easily they squeezed in some of the detailed monster rules and spells from this game. The tokens are thick, and the standees actually stand. 10 out of 10. If anything, I just don't like fiddling with all these bits, especially for hit points and gold. I would rather write that stuff down. The combat tracker is handy, but it needs a column for armor class, and I'm definitely switching the columns for hit points and conditions, so I can scribble damage from each attack in the wider one. The poster maps are not only abundant, like look at all these maps laid out, and now remember that they are also all double-sided, but also a number of these maps seem useful for any adventure. And these shopping handouts are actually kind of cool. Like, I'm not anti-shopping episode, I just like it to go faster than it usually does. And I wish this handout letter from the Keeps Castellan was meant for the beginning of the game, to hand it to the players right away, really get them immersed. Instead, the heroes don't get this letter until the very end of the adventure. Now, no adventure spoilers, but I love this line from the quick start. The adventure has no overarching plot. While there are conflicts and secrets to uncover, the story that emerges is the one your group experiences. It suggests starting in the wilderness, but each booklet is self-contained with a starting area, rules, tutorial, and most of the other areas and quests are laid out on a single spread or even on one page, designed to be played through in about an hour each. Also, it's super cool that you can only take a long rest in the keep to recharge most of your limited use features, not in the wilderness or the caves, because they're too dangerous. But you can only level up by completing those more dangerous quests focused on exploration and combat, not by completing the quests in the keep focused on social interaction. That's great design to keep the party moving and to switch GMs when you switch from one booklet to another. And I should have mentioned affiliate link below if you want to pick up this set and support the channel. So as I've been saying for months, probably a year now, I'm looking forward to running this adventure and hearing what you think about this new box set down in the comments. And whether or not you'd like to see DM guide videos like I made for the Essentials kit back when I started this channel. Thanks again to our sponsor and the Bob World Builder patrons and YouTube members for directly supporting what I do. Keep building.